everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa, and today I have got another What I Eat in a Day video for you. This is episode number 31 in our What I Eat in a Day series, and I can't believe we have made this many videos, but it is so fun filming them, and you guys absolutely love them, so we are going to continue to make them. And today we are partnering with my awesome friends at Thrive Market. You guys know I partner with them every single month, and this month I am showing you how to make vegan pumpkin bread. I'm showing you a new quinoa pizza crust, and of course we're making smoothies and matchas because that's pretty much what I eat every single morning. So if you haven't checked out Thrive before, they are my favorite online retailer for non-perishable items. They have organic groceries, tons of natural beauty, just a ton of amazing products, and we are using a ton of products that you can find on Thrive Market in today's recipes. If you haven't joined Thrive yet, I have a special discount for you. You can click the link below and save $60 on your groceries. So tap that link below, sign up for Thrive. You guys are absolutely gonna love it. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive into today's video. So I started my day with a matcha latte as well as a green smoothie. And the matcha is my standard matcha latte recipe. It's just a teaspoon of matcha powder. I sweeten it with monk fruit extract. I add in some pumpkin pie spice, which you can get on Thrive, some ashwagandha powder, some coconut butter, and then the hot water. And then I basically just blend it up in my blender until it is smooth and creamy, pour it into my mug, and that's it. I had this pre-yoga, and then I went to a hot yoga class, and then after yoga, I came back and made my green smoothie. The base of my green smoothie today was spinach. I also added in some grain-free protein powder, as well as some astragalus powder, both of which you can get on Thrive Market. And then I also added in some steamed and frozen zucchini, some frozen pumpkin puree, some frozen mango, and then my liquids were coconut water, aloe vera juice, and a little bit of water. And then I just blended this up until it was thick and smooth, and it was a little bit thicker than I was anticipating, but I poured it into a glass anyway, and I ate it with a spoon. I just didn't really feel like having a smoothie bowl with all the toppings today, so I just ate this one with a smooth, nice and slow, and it was so yummy. So I was craving something sweet for a snack today, so I decided to do a riff on my vegan pumpkin bread. And the base is some flax eggs, so we're mixing flaxseed meal with hot water. And then we're gonna let that set for about 5 minutes while we mix together our dry ingredients. The dry ingredients is a mixture of quinoa flour, sorghum flour, teff flour, almond flour, a little bit of coconut sugar, some baking powder, some sea salt, and some pumpkin pie spice, and then you just whisk it all together. And then once we have that set, we are gonna make a date puree. So I soaked about 6 dates in a cup of boiling hot water for about 10 minutes, and then I blend that up until it's smooth and creamy. And we're gonna add this into our wet ingredients. So in the flaxseed mixture, we're gonna add in our pumpkin, and then we're gonna add in our date puree. And then you're gonna stir that all together. The container was too small, so I transferred this to another container, added in some coconut oil, as well as a little bit of almond milk, and I stirred this all together. And then you just pour this into the dry ingredients and stir it together until a dough forms. And then the last thing you're gonna do is mix together a half a teaspoon of baking soda with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. It's gonna get really frothy. You're gonna quickly pour that into the batter, stir it in, and then you can transfer it to your parchment lined baking pan. And I like to sprinkle mine with a little bit of raw sugar as well as some pumpkin seeds, but that's totally optional. And then you're gonna bake this at 350 degrees for about 60 minutes. And you're gonna let it cool in the pan completely, and then you can slice it. So like I mentioned, this was a test and it didn't really turn out quite the way I wanted. You can see here as I'm slicing it, it's a little bit gummy inside. So I am gonna link the traditional recipe in the description box below for you, but this one didn't work. So it still tasted good, but it just wasn't quite the right texture. So if you wanna try the vegan pumpkin bread, tap that link in the description box below. For lunch today, I made my creamy mushroom soup, and you start by just mincing up some garlic, and you're just gonna chop it up as fine as you can, but you're gonna blend it so it doesn't really matter how finely it's chopped. as well as a shallot or a red onion. And again, just dice this up. And then we're gonna heat this in a saucepan with some olive oil, and then just kind of let it cook down a little bit until they start to brown and become fragrant. Then we are going to chop 2 containers of cremini mushrooms. You could use other types of mushrooms, but these are the mushrooms I like. So chop those up however you'd like. You can slice, quarter, whatever. Add those into the saucepan as well. And then you're also gonna add in some salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, rosemary, and pepper flakes. And stir that all together, and it's gonna start to get a little bit watery from the mushrooms, but that's totally fine. Cook it until everything is kind of softened. Then you can add in a can of rinsed and drained white beans. Stir those together as well. Cook for another 1 to 2 minutes, and then you can add in your vegetable broth. I used 3 cups of vegetable broth here, and then you just let it come to a boil and let it simmer until you're ready to eat it. It could be 15 minutes, it could be 45 minutes, whatever you like. So then you're going to transfer it into your blender and blend it up until it's totally smooth. And then transfer it back into your pot, and depending on the thickness that you like, you can stir in some almond milk or some more broth. I did a mixture of both here, and just to get the right consistency. And to serve the soup, I topped it with a drizzle of olive oil and some nutritional yeast. So with my soup, I also had a slice of avocado toast. I just smashed up 1/3 of an avocado in a little bowl, put that on top of my favorite gluten-free bread. Then I put some of this truffle sea salt on top, which I got from Thrive Market and I absolutely love. It was such a yummy lunch. It was super simple. It's great for meal prep if you work during the day and want something healthy and hearty. So filling, and I just loved it. Like I mentioned, I made a quinoa pizza for dinner tonight with pesto, mushrooms, and fennel on top. So we're gonna start by making the crust, and the base of the crust is quinoa flour, as well as some quinoa flakes. And then to help bind it together, we're gonna add in some psyllium husk powder, and then some salt and some pepper. And you can whisk this all together, and then we are just gonna add in water for this recipe. So you just stir in some warm water. I used about 1 cup until you get a thick, kind of pliable, sticky dough, and this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look kind of fluffy, also really sticky. And then you can transfer this onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, and using your hands, you're gonna wanna use wet hands here. You're just gonna spread it out as thinly as you can. I just kept spreading and spreading and spreading, and then I ended up doing a little crust, kind of twisting the dough a tiny bit at the end to give it a kind of crust on the outside. That's totally optional, you don't have to do that. And then you're gonna pop this in a 400 degrees oven for 20 minutes. And while that bakes, we are gonna make our pesto. So the pesto is a base of olive oil, as well as some basil, of course, some garlic, nutritional yeast, pine nuts, salt, and pepper. And then we just blend this up until it's smooth and creamy. You could add in a little bit of lemon juice if you want. You could also add in a little bit of water to thin it out if you want, but this is the texture that I like. I like it to be thick, but still a little bit creamy. And then we can set that aside until our crust is done, and we're gonna do the mushrooms and fennel. So I thinly sliced the mushrooms, and then I used my mandolin slicer to slice the fennel. And I didn't want to add them onto the pizza raw. I was worried they weren't gonna cook through, so I gave them a quick saute in water, and I added in salt, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and a little bit of pepper. And I just sauteed those until they were kind of tender. It took about 2 to 3 minutes. And then once the crust is done, it's gonna be golden brown, and it's still gonna be a little bit soft, but it will be crispy on the bottom, so you can kind of lift it up. That's the texture that you want. And then we are just going to add on our pesto, as well as the veggies. And I didn't have any vegan cheese, but you could also top it with vegan cheese. And then you're gonna pop it back into the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes. And that's all you have to do. To serve mine, I did a generous sprinkle of nutritional yeast and then a nice drizzle of sriracha. I love hot sauce on top of pizza. And it was such a great dinner. I just wanted to show you quickly the crust. So the crust, you can see it picks up, it holds a bunch of toppings, it's not soggy. And here I'm just squeezing the end so you can see that it's like nice and chewy and soft. So this is really yummy. The crust recipe is gonna be below, so you can try it and let me know what you think. And there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you try that new quinoa pizza crust because it's really yummy, and I will shoot it and put it on the blog, but I just haven't had time yet because I was testing it. So if you do end up trying it, make sure to share a photo with me on Instagram. You can tag @simplyquinoa or you can use the hashtag simplyquinoa. I also want to thank Thrive Market for joining us in today's video. I love partnering with them every single month, and I love hearing how much you guys enjoy shopping on Thrive as well. So if you aren't already a member of Thrive Market, you can tap the link that is in the description box below and save $60 off on your groceries. It's a great deal on top of the deals that you're already getting, so I definitely recommend checking that out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I would love for you to join our growing community here on YouTube. You can tap that red button that is right below this video. It says subscribe. That will automatically subscribe you, or you can click the button that I'm putting on the next screen and that will subscribe you as well. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I've linked the entire What I Eat in a Day playlist in the description box below, so you can binge watch some of those episodes if you want. And other than that, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!